Hello everyone, it's Lel, and it's time to talk about episode 20 from Wonderful PreCure, the birth of the Amity Ribbon Tambourine, and now officially, Kurinyami and Kira Lillian are part of the Wonderful PreCure team. First of all, the opening is changed. We have some new shots, some complemented shots actually, not new ones, but we have Yuki and Mayu being added to certain scenes that look amazing with them. I particularly love that shot from the opening that has the Wonderful Pact and the Shiny Cats Pact together. It looks amazing. So this episode, we have them inviting Mayu and Yuki to come to Nico Garden. And I think that this episode showed something very interesting in a very well done way, in a way that was super well done. Let's put it this way. I think it's better. Which is people or the characters from Wonderful, they read the scenarios with their own perspectives, especially the animals. So they will use their own perspectives to read the world around them, their own perspectives and their own experiences. I will explain what I mean by that as the discussion goes on. So they go. Yuki does not want to go. She still has the same mindset, as in, I want to protect Mayu, and that's the only thing. But she ends up going because Mayu wants her to go. And Mayu says something important, which is she feels braver when Yuki is with her. That motivates Yuki to go with Mayu to Nico Garden. When they're there, Mei Mei gets super happy to see Mayu and know that now Mayu is a cure. But when he goes to talk to Yuki, she just does not want to talk. She does not want to be part of the group. She does not want to be considered part of the Wonderful team. It doesn't matter that she is Kurinyami. Her mindset and her goal is another. So she just jumps over Mei Mei and she just goes on a walk of her own. So here I think that things get very interesting because they go to search for Yuki, and Yuki is by herself. And then Mayu starts talking about the fact that Yuki has always been by herself and she does not like to be around many people. A big group of people is something that is hard for Yuki. And then Iroha asks about her being in Pretty Holic, and Mayu just compliments by saying that she just likes sunbathing. She just stands there in the sun. When lots of customers arrive, she goes back to Yuki's and Mayu's bedroom, so she won't stay around many people. I feel like this is interesting because it just shows how Mayu knows Yuki, but sometimes she just loses a little track of that because obviously Mayu has a different perspective on things. Mayu wants to befriend people. Mayu wants to be around her friends. Mayu wants to be together with her new made friends, Iroha and everybody else. And, she kind of loses track about Yuki. And then she shares something about Yuki, which is Yuki is someone who likes being by herself, just like me, just like Mayu. Mayu is like that as well. She has a hard time being around lots of people with her. And then here's where I think things get very interesting, which is when Komugi jumps in and says, well, does that mean that you hate us? Because for Komugi, in her dog mind, things are very straightforward and simple. Mayu is a very complex person and a complex character, just like I feel like Yuki is as well. She is way more complex than Komugi is, and even Iroha, if you compare the way the series has been developing them. And for Komugi, things are very straightforward. So she knows that Mayu does not hate them, but she still asks it anyways, because if Mayu hates being around lots of people, she must hate Komugi and the others because they are a group of people as well. And so Komugi asks that, and when Mayu says, look, not, I don't hate you. I love being your friends. Like, this is a clear thing for everyone. You don't need to ask that. But then that makes Mayu think, if I am someone who does not like being around lots of people, this might be, and I'm at ease with Komugi and everyone, that might be true for Yuki as well. I mean, I feel like this is not like unthinkable, but Yuki and Mayu, they are very different in this hardship in being around people. Yuki does not care. Mayu has a hard time, but she cares about the people that are around her. She wants to befriend them. Yuki doesn't. So, for Mayu, this is just something that it went above her head. Like, she did not think of that. Like, okay, if it's true for me, it might be true for Yuki. Not really. But, that's how Komugi perceives the world. That's how Komugi sees things. So I feel like that is a very interesting way of dialoguing, of analyzing things. And then we go to Yuki. And when she's there by herself, she sees the kid eating Fawn. The kid eating Fawn is hiding, all scared. And Yuki is a little worried, but then she doesn't say anything. She just sits there by herself. And then when the kid eating Fawn sees her, he thinks she's a different cat. But then they ask, and they notice very fast that she is the mysterious Kurinyami. It's very funny that the kid-eating animals, they look at her, they know she is Kurinyami very fast. And so they talk to her, and they keep on, saying, they say thank you for saving the Fawn, even though Nyami didn't do anything. And then they start sharing. They start saying how hard it was for them when they were a Garugaru, because they were feeling all alone. They were being scared. There was no one to help them. There was no one to save them. And they were doing things that they did not want to do. That is when Yuki starts actually paying attention to what the Fawn is saying, because for Yuki, it was the same. She was also by herself. The difference here is that Yuki did not at the time, she didn't let anyone approach her. Well, the Garugarus didn't either. But Yuki was in more of a conscious act, and she just let Mayu approach her. She chose the one that she could trust approach her. And it's more or less the same with the Garugarus if we think about it, because the Garugarus, they let the cures approach them after a little back and forth in the chase scenes. That is when Yuki noticed that there is a lot of similarities between her and the Garugarus. That is when the empathy actually sparked in her, because that's when she started to understand that what she went through is very similar to what the Garugarus go through as well. And then we have the other kid-eating animals appearing, and, the other kid-eating animals, they also notice that she is Kurinyami. I love that. And then they all go to have a little party together. In the party, we notice that Yuki notices that Mayu is at ease because of her body language. She is not tense at all. Yuki notices that, and she mentions it to Mayu, because that is not something normal for Mayu to be like in a place that she is not used to being. So there, she is at ease. She feels at home. So for Yuki, that is shocking. She is getting to know a new side of Mayu. She is getting to know something about Mayu that she is now noticing that is true. Mayu is opening up. Mayu is growing up. Maybe she doesn't need to defend Mayu all the time, right? She starts noticing that at the same time that the Fawn arrives with some music notes, with some cookies, with the form of music notes. 2025 PreCure music themed. Here we go. I'm joking. And then Mayu eats a little, Yuki eats a little. Yuki praises it in her own way. Obviously, she won't say it's delicious. She won't say it's amazing. In her own way, she praises it. I love this. And then they go back home. When they are home, a Garugaru appears. Yuki pretends she doesn't see the Garugaru, but then Mayu notices it is a Garugaru. And I love that scene where Mayu says, I'm scared, because Yuki says, you can't go. You're not done for scary things, Mayu. And Mayu says, I am scared, but at the same time, I am a PreCure now. I will fight. I will help the Garugarus. I'm a PreCure. I can do this. I love that scene. And then Mayu goes. The other girls also go. So we have Wonderful and Friendly transforming together. And then we have Mayu transforming into Cure Lillian. So the three of them go. Yuki obviously does not stay behind. She goes after Mayu, keeping her distance. She still does not want to work with Komugi or Iroha. And then she's just there, up from afar, seeing everything from afar. And then we get to see the Kirin Fox, which is the one that they will confront in this episode. Very nice that they got the Kitsune legend, that the Kitsune can transform into other things, and then they use it for the power of the Kirin Kitsune. Very funny with the fire truck. I need a fire truck. And then, it incapacitates Wonderful and Friendly. And then Cure Lillian is all by herself. Because she is by herself, Yuki transforms into Kurenami. She joins the fray. Some interesting things to notice. One of them is that it's very funny that they're trying to kind of incorporate the phrases that they say after their transformations into the speeches that they have. There was a moment that the fox was running towards Lillian, and Lillian's phrase is kawakunai, kawakunai, which means don't be scared. And then she was saying that again to the Kirin Fox. Obviously, it did not listen. It just ran past her. But it's funny, It's funny that they're trying to incorporate that. Same with Kurenami as well. And then Kurenami arrives in the fight, in the chase, and Lillian is trying to get to the fox, but obviously Nyami is a little bit more athletic, so she jumps in, she gets in very fast, and she finds an opening to be able to fight against it. But then, when she has the opportunity, she cannot act on the opportunity because, she's not able to do anything because she remembers what the Fawn told her in Nico Garden and everything that the Garugarus are going through, the pain that the Garugarus are going through. So she remembers that and she takes a step back. She won't hurt a monster. She won't hurt a Garugaru anymore, but she still is not able to hug. She's not able to give the warmth that the Garugaru needs. She's not able to do that by herself. She really isn't. She is only able to do that with Lillian. And so she's attacked by the Garugaru. Cure Lillian shields her. That scene was so well drawn, so pretty, but it's very unfortunate that all that power is used for shielding. I'm sorry. Kind of boring. Lillian proved herself to be super powerful just to create a shield. I'm sorry, Cure Mint. I'm sorry, Cure Butterfly. We've seen that before, and I'm very sorry that, that big power is just for that. Kind of sad. But it was cool seeing Lillian do that anyways. And Lillian is that powerful because she is fighting together with Yuki, her beloved, or Kurenami. And so she lends her hand to Nyami. Nyami holds her hand back, and both of them want to purify the monster together. Holding hands in PreCure is something very important. It's always been, and it keeps on being like that. The bond between Mayu and Yuki is super strong, and because of that, the power of their bond makes the Shiny Cat's Pact turn into the Amity Ribbon Tambourine. Super pretty. And then it turns into a super beautiful attack. Amity Lumiere. Very posh attack, right? Very posh. I just don't like the ending. I don't like the end part of the attack, the way the attack hits on the Garugu. I really don't. It's not an attack, purification. I don't like it, like the end. But the rest, oh my God, they're so chic. They're so powerful, chic. They slay. I really, really like it. Very regal. Love it. And, very, very cool. And then at the end of the day, Cure Nyami accepts being part of Wonderful PreCure on one condition. That was a very surprising one. And it is simply studying with Mayu. Who did that for Komugi? Mei. So Yuki knows who to go for. And Mei will make her enroll at the same school. It is like Yuki is so smart. I love it. She is really, really like a cat. She doesn't care about anyone. She doesn't care about the other students. She doesn't care about going to school. She cares about being together with Mayu. At school, at home, in the PreCure part of their lives. Now she's going to be with Mayu every single time. She must be very happy. I loved it. And I forgot to mention another thing that I loved about this episode. It was very colorful. I loved how the backgrounds were super, super colorful. Lots of times we had lots of different backgrounds when the characters were doing cute things. It just made the episode look even more special. I love it. And with the power of empathy, Yuki was finally able to understand the pain that the Garugarus are going through. I'm happy plot-wise, but I'm very sad because we're not going to see Kuronyami slaying and serving anymore. What can we do, right? Anyways, this was my opinion on episode 20 from Wonderful PreCure. What was yours? Please leave in the comments. Let's keep talking about it. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member here on YouTube, if you are a member on Patreon, if you support me on Throne, thank you very, very much. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.